Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, we have Iraq ready to meet with the United States over the value of the Iraqi dinar. I told you these were games they were playing with Iraq, and seriously, Iraq needs to figure out a way to get out of the control of the United States. It's really a pain in the ass for them. So let's get into these details and what's going on over in Iraq. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button, and if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold, silver, or any other precious metals, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description, or just type in www.moneymetals.com/Pimpy. If you make a purchase when you follow that link, you will automatically be entered for a chance to win 10 free silver ounces. So get started today, and hopefully your stack will start to look like this real soon. So head on over, tell them Pimpy sent you. You can follow me over on other platforms. I do have my own group over on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. So head on over here and join us. It's free to do so. In here I do post updates if I should get on suspension from YouTube or get removed from YouTube, and you want to know what happened to me, I'll let you know right here in this group. I can be found on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and the cool thing about YouTube, if you come over here and you join and you find my channel, I got videos going back, I believe, a couple years. So if you want to see some older videos that I have on Nasera, Jacera, gold, silver, cryptos, come on over here and join. Look me up and check out my videos. You can also find me on Odyssey. Catch me on Rumble. When I say that the links for all these are down below in the description, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. It's real simple. Just go down to the bottom right here of any of my videos. See this? This is the description. Hit show more. And there are all the links to all the platforms I just spoke about. So if you do want to head on over to Money Metals, just click it. And there you are. So come on over. Join us. I look forward to having you. Just to let everybody know, I will be in Vegas from September 29th through October 1st for the Silver Symposium. So come on out and join us. It's at Caesar's Palace. If you're looking for an excuse to go to Vegas, there you have it. I encourage everybody to go. There'll be a lot of guest speakers, people you are familiar with. You can see right here when you go to this link, it'll explain to you what the symposium is about. We will have familiar faces there speaking, Andy Shepman, Economic Ninja, along with a slew of other people that you will be able to ask questions to. So come on out there and join us. This would be your opportunity to meet these people firsthand and take pictures with them and just hear what they have to say. I will leave a link for this event down below in the description. So here you have it, an upcoming visit of an Iraqi government delegation to America to discuss the issue of the exchange rate. And yes, I already heard people are saying, oh, they're saying they're going to change it, they're going to reinstate it, that's what they're pushing for. No, that's not what they're pushing for. They have an issue with why it is the United States has placed 14 of their banks on sanctions. So the coalition of state administration is scheduled to meet this week in Baghdad to discuss a number of issues, foremost of which is depreciation of the Iraqi dinar against the US dollar, with the proposed to send an Iraqi government delegation to America to discuss the issue. A spokesman for the Victory Alliance, which represents one of the parties of the State Administration Alliance, told the news that the state administration will meet this week in the office of one of its leaders of the alliance in Baghdad to discuss a number of issues, including the government's work, the level of services, and the latest developments in this field. He added that the financial and banking sector will also be one of the most important axes of the meeting, especially after the restrictions of the work of 14 banks by the United States, which had a significant impact on the devaluation of the dinar. A spokesperson pointed out that the issue has become serious, attributing this to its threat to Iraq's economy and its negative impact on the livelihoods of the people and the destabilization of various sectors, leading to the loss of billions in dinars. It is noteworthy that the United States of America removed 14 Iraq banks from the list of central banks that are entitled to hard currencies on charges of smuggling dollars to countries subject to U.S. sanctions. On July 19th, the Wall Street Journal reported that the United States had taken actions against 14 banks on suspicion of money laundering. On suspicion. Not that they had proof, but it was on suspicion that they were money laundering. I think it's more of a quidinky-dink that they happened to place these sanctions on these 14 banks right after Iraq had signed that agreement with Iran. That is a little suspicious that these 14 banks are all of a sudden under the suspicion of money laundering right around the same time. This is what I'm talking about. The Biden administration and the United States play too many games, and that's not what you need right now. For his part, the spokesperson from the alliance said that the devaluation of the dinar is one of the hottest issues in the Iraqi streets, so it will be the most prominent axis of the meeting of the State Administration Alliance. He pointed out there are fears that the value of the dinar will decrease further, noting that there is a vision amongst the leaders of the coordinating framework and the state administration also to send a delegation of representatives of the Iraqi government to discuss the issue with the U.S. Federal Bank and discuss with its threats and risks and proposals to address the situation. I would demand proof. If they're saying on suspicion, you guys are screwing with our country. You're screwing with our economy. This affects our people. I want you to show me proof. If they didn't have any proof, I'd be really pissed, and I would take this and make this a public situation, saying that this is games that the United States is playing with Iraq and their people, and it's uncalled for. What the Biden administration is doing is pushing Iraq further along to join the BRICS nations and get away from the U.S. dollar altogether. Well, now, I spoke about this before. Al-Kadhimi succeeded in leading his new party. I told you that Al-Kadhimi was going to run again in politics. And people say he can't run, he has to be appointed. I was like, what are you talking about? You can run for that position. Now, in this article, it does not specifically say he's running for prime minister, but he is running for office again. And I think he has a really good chance of winning as long as there's no rigged election over there in Iraq. It says former MP confirmed today, Sunday, that the former Prime Minister Al-Kadhimi has the vision and mentality of the Iraqi universities, especially after his experience in the premiership. As it turns out that he is far from sectarian struggles and did not get involved in corruption. Notice how it said didn't get involved in corruption, but we see articles saying that they froze his money because they're investigating him for corruption. It's very interesting that the articles contradict one another, but I do remember before this last election that Al-Kadhimi was out campaigning, telling people, look, I'm the right person for the prime minister job because of the job he'd done before, and the fact that he got along with all groups, even competing factions that were out there. So they added in a statement that Desharita that the most important question about Al-Kadhimi is about the possibility of giving him the opportunity again by the influential political parties. Notice how it says the only issue that he has is whether or not he will have an opportunity again because of the political influence that these other parties that don't like him have over the people. He indicated that he will succeed if this happens to his ability to gather the different Iraqi forces with all his names. So I wish Al-Kadhimi luck. We are happy about the steps that were taken by the Sudanese, but I prefer to have Al-Kadhimi in there. Remember, his hands were tied, and he had accomplished so much during his time in there, considering he was up against some serious obstacles. I'm curious to see what would happen if those obstacles weren't in his way, especially since the United States seems to like Al-Kadhimi as well. Land versus sea, revealing the details of the Iraqi offer to Kuwait is urgent. This is what I spoke about in the last video. These are the borders that are being discussed between Kuwait and Iraq. Said the agencies revealed the details of the upcoming agreement between Iraq and Kuwait government on redrawing the borders between the two countries with the approaching completion of work at the Fall port. The agency said, according to what was translated, that the Iraqi government is ready to offer Kuwait its agreement to recognize its claims to the land borders between the two countries in return for obtaining a guarantee that Kuwait will recognize the water borders of Iraq, stressing that Iraq aspires to guarantee its access to the waters of the Gulf through the new port without hindrance. The agency also indicated that one of the points of the up-and-coming talks with the Kuwait government is to stop the arrests carried out by its naval forces against Iraqi fishermen in the waters of the Arabian Gulf, stressing that the Iraqi government is very serious about resolving the border problems with Kuwait once and for all within the efforts of the government of the Prime Minister al-Sudani to improve Iraq's relationship with the Gulf states as described. So this would be big. If they do agree upon this and Kuwait gets the land that they want and Iraq gets the freedom that they want underwater, this is going to open up a lot of doors for the Iraqi economy, in my opinion, especially in the fishing industry, obviously, which is one of the big industries for Iraq. So the Iraq and the Kuwait sides discussed the files and agreed to continue holding committees regarding the file and to stress the end of the border issues between Iraq and Kuwait. They also discussed the oil file and the common fields and stated that the correct framework for solving problems is dialogue. The Kuwait minister revealed the visit of a loyal delegation from his country's oil ministry to the capital of Baghdad on September the 10th to discuss the oil file and the joint fields, pointing to the need to work on ending the file of demarcating the maritime borders, explaining that we found a congruence of views with the Iraqi side. So this would be a big plus for Iraq, especially if they can agree with Kuwait on the oil that's there, but give them their borders. And then Kuwait allows Iraq the access to the ports and for the fishermen to fish out there in the waters. Now, just as headline, World Bank warns of risk of falling gains in Iraq's oil boom. So we knew that the value of oil would shoot up once they reduced the production of oil. That happened in July. Little by little, you're going to see our gas prices go up. Little by little, you're going to see the cost of oil go up. But the World Bank's trying to put the fear in Iraq about doing these cuts. But this is something that OPEC agreed on altogether. So we'll pay attention to oil prices and see what happens. Because if the oil prices drop too low, this would affect the budget of Iraq. So hopefully everything works itself out between Iraq and the United States and they lift these sanctions so that the value of the dinar will go back up. It's ridiculous that they're putting sanctions on these banks based on suspicion. They should have evidence. They should have proof before they slap sanctions on anything, in my opinion. You let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm out.